Hey friends, go ahead and grab the sheet of paper that's in a sheet protector and grab a dry erase marker. Once you have that ready, let's start with, are you reading closely and looking? And this is the side that has all of the tables on it. Let's circle the question mark and go all the way back to the beginning of the sentence. Put your finger on if. It says, if Ricky uses 8 less Legos than Fred each time, which table shows the number of Legos Ricky and Fred will use to build their structure? So a structure is kind of like a building. Let's go ahead and read the first sentence. So put your finger on Ricky. Says Ricky and Fred were building Lego structures. So they were building things from Legos. And now let's go ahead and circle some clues. So it says that Ricky uses 8 less Legos than Fred. So if Ricky uses 8 less Legos, I want you to think of the operation that gives you less. If you go ahead and take a look at the anchor chart that's up above my wall, you can figure this out. But what operation gives you less? You're right, it's subtraction. So Ricky has 8 less than Fred. And it's asking for which table, which is one of these, shows the number of Legos that they will use to build their building, to build their structure. So now that we have that information done, now we can take a look at our tables. So whenever you have a question that has lots of tables, should you start on the tables right away? No, you shouldn't. You should start in the information that they give you, because in the information that they give you, they will tell you what the relationship is. So now that we know that our relationship has to be subtracting 8, let's go ahead and take a look. So who has 8 less? You're right. Ricky uses 8 less Legos. Ricky is right here. So that means when we are going to Ricky's side, he is going to have less. And the operation that gives you less is subtraction. So that's going to be minus 8 going that way. This one has to be minus 8 going that way over to Ricky. This one has to be minus 8 going that way to Ricky. And this one has to be minus 8 going toward Ricky. So now what we have to do is check each of the relationships. Since our titles are next to each other, we have to find the relationship of the pair of numbers that are next to each other. So let's start with A. Let's go from 8 to 10. So who is supposed to have less again? You're right, Ricky is supposed to have less. But go ahead and take a look at these numbers even before I write down the minus 8 right here. Does Ricky have less than Fred? No, he doesn't. He has more. So A is automatically wrong. Now let's go over here. Let's start with the 18 and go to the 10, subtract 8. I know that subtraction can be a little hard for some of you, and that's okay. It's good that relationship goes both ways, because if you don't want to go this way and subtract 8 going toward Ricky, you can always go the opposite way. Going this way, we're subtracting by 8. What would our relationship be going the opposite direction? I want you to think about what is the opposite of subtraction. If you go ahead and take a look at the operation clue that I left above the board, I have all the operations here: add, subtract, multiply, divide, and I have the opposites circled together. So here is subtraction, here is subtraction, and the opposite of subtraction is addition. I'm just going to write plus 8 because it's the same number. So if going this way is hard for you, you can always go in the opposite direction. I'm going to erase this one, and I'm going to go start from Ricky's. And if I'm trying to turn that number into a bigger number, I'm going to add 8 right here. So 10 plus 8. Let's see if that equals 8. Let's put the 10 in our brain, hands off, and then count on with our fingers 8 more. Okay? So 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Is that true? Yes. Go ahead and do the next one to yourself. Let's see if 14 plus 8 equals 22. You're right, it does equal 22. Go ahead and do the next one. Again, it's right. Good job. Do the last one. Again, that's right. This one could be our answer, so I'm going to put an M for maybe. And now that we have that, let's go ahead and look at C and D. Now, B is the answer, but I want you to take a look at C. I want you to keep going, and I want you to tell me what's wrong with C. So if we keep going in the opposite direction and add A, does 10 plus 8 equal 2? No, it doesn't. 10 plus 8 equals 18. So this one is wrong just because of that. Also, you can go ahead and take a look up. You can take a look up here again. It says Ricky uses 8 less than Fred. Right now, does Ricky have less than Fred? No, he has more, so that's why C is wrong. Let's take a look to see why D is wrong. Is 10 plus 8 18? Yes, it is. What about 14 plus 8? No, it's not. What's 14 plus 8? Since 14 plus 8 is not 26, D is incorrect too. So our answer is B. Okay, now I want you to go ahead and flip over your paper to the back. Let's start with, are you reading closely and looking? Circle the question mark and go all the way back to the beginning of the sentence. Put your finger on which. It says, which of the following statements is true about the information given in the table? Now we can cross out the R and the U. Put your finger on Miss at the beginning. It says, Miss Barker's class was earning stickers on paper hearts. The table shows the number of stickers needed for different numbers of hearts. Let's cross it off and let's circle some clues. So this is talking about Miss Barker's class. They're earning stick hearts. And those are the titles in our table. The number of hearts is here and the number of stickers is here. And then it says, which of the following statements, go ahead and circle statements, that means sentences. So which of these sentences is true about the information given in the table? So this time, are we going to start by focusing on the one table that we have here or on the answer choices? You're right, we're going to start focusing on the information in the table because we don't know which of these is true until we do the work ourselves on the table first. So now that we have that, let's go ahead and take a look at our titles. Are our titles next to each other or on top of each other? You're right, they're next to each other. So our relationships have to be next to each other. Let's circle the first pair of numbers that are next to each other. And what should we start out with? Should we start out with a small number going to the big number or the big number going to the small number? You're right. We should start out with the small number going to the big number because that's on our anchor chart. Let's take a look at it. On our anchor chart, we matched it up with this picture, and that's why we're going to go from side to side with our arrows, and then remember it says to start here at the small number and go to the big number, and to get from the small number to the big number, we can add or multiply. Now the easiest thing to start out with is multiplication. You can start by singing the song, or you can start by drawing your dots. So I'm going to show you how to draw the dots on here. So we're going to draw 3 dots on this side, and then we're going to draw 9 dots on this side. And now that you have your 9 dots, let's go ahead. Remember, we're trying to figure out if we can multiply. So if you take a look at this piece of paper that's on top of the board, this says that whenever you see the multiplication symbol, that means groups of. So we have to see if we can make groups of. And look at the small number, 3. Let's see if we can make groups of 3 over here where we have the big number. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Were we able to make groups of 3? Yeah. How many groups of 3 were we able to make? Well, we made 1, 2, 3 groups of 3. So how many times bigger is 9 than 3? You're right, it's 1, 2, 3 times bigger. So since 9 is 3 times bigger, we're going to write times 3. Remember, we started with the small number and went over to the big number. So our arrow has to go that way. But now we have to check and see if the relationship is times 3 for the rest of the numbers. So we have to start with the small number and go to the big number. Now that we've drawn our picture, we don't have to draw another picture. Let's see if it's times 3. 5 times 3 equals 15. Let's sing the 5 song. 5, 10, 15. That's true. I want you to look at the multiplication chart in your small group folder or the multiplication chart that's up on the board to see if 7 times 3 equals 21. You're right, it does. 7, 14, 21. So we finally found our relationship of times 3 going that way. And now that we know that, we can go ahead and take a look at the answer choices. A says the number of stickers is equal to the number of hearts times 12. So go ahead and take a look at what they all start with. They all start with what? They all start with the number of stickers. So go ahead and circle all of that. That means that we have to focus on the number of stickers. So here's the number of stickers. The way that this question is worded is they want to know how to get to the number of stickers. So it says the number of stickers is equal to the number of hearts. So here's the number of hearts. So we have to start with the number of hearts times what? All of them have times at the end. And we did times 3. So that's why B is going to be our answer. Because I want you to look at that word times that's going to be up here on top of our board. Whenever we're talking about something being times as much or times as many, what operation is that?